Yes, our good Romanian friend Mr. V was indeed correct. There is a war on noticing. I hope it doesn't affect me though, because if it does, man, I am royally banjaxed, because that's basically all I do here, point and laugh, and sometimes sneak in my monarchical propaganda. Or blast you with it, with all the subtleties of a jackhammer to the testicles. Yes, good times indeed. Anyway, I saw this on the Twitter. Pattern recognition is another name for racismus and sexismus. And as I write at the top there, yes, I have noticed the pattern of every dim-witted pleb calling me a racist and sexist for noticing the pattern of every dim-witted pleb having no argument except to call people racist and sexist. So a question I have, what patterns exactly am I recognizing, and what conclusions am I reaching that would lead an idiot like this git on the left here to call me these hollowed out and boring labels? That Kamala Harris is a useless gimp? That's not controversial, that's just common sense. Now bear in mind, Vivek, hey, we're discussing two Viveks today, I'll be damned, that pattern recognition is how any human beings learn. If you don't have the capacity for pattern recognition, you have a learning disability. I don't know what else to tell you. Actually, the Kamala Harris shot might be jumping the gun by a few years, because as is the case when you see any picture like this on the Twitter instead of an article link, it very well might be a tad dated. And this one is no exception. In fact, how dated it actually is the reason I'm doing this video, to show you guys how long this stupidity has been trekking on for. Are you ready for this? This article is 4 days shy from being a whopping 10 years old. That's right, November the 14th of 2013. So let's listen.
Why is it, do you think, that both in the cases of Facebook and Twitter, they sort of agreed quietly that they should have a woman on their board, but they weren't willing to do it before they go public?
Because it very well might have tanked the stock value of the company, maybe? I don't know, by the way, I'm just assuming.
What's the problem?
Well, I'm not sure what they agreed privately. I mean, Twitter has had the crap beaten out of it. And I'll take a lot of credit for that myself, because I've written 5 articles about it myself. And not once have they said they're going to have a woman on the board. They leaked to Kara Swisher. I mean, I'm sure that they had some PR flunky from Twitter get in touch with her and say, hey, we're looking for someone like Madeleine Albright or Hillary Clinton.
So is everybody.
Oh dear God, can you imagine Hillary Clinton on the board of anything? What hell that would be. I can't believe I have to explain this to this useless activist masquerading as an academic. Actually, that's a lie. I can totally believe why I have to explain this. This asshole boasts about beating the crap out of Twitter and then wonders, not once have they ever said they're going to have a woman on their board. Well, sir, seeing as I have a pair of balls and you don't, allow me to elaborate this. No man with any shred of self-respect or dignity would ever be shamed by another man into hiring a female for no reason other than the whims of some whining male feminist, which is what this one clearly is. I'm telling you, these kinds of men, and I use that term very poorly here, are so emasculated and pitiful, but they still want to get female attention, and so the only way they can even try to get access to it is to put them on a damn pedestal. Let me tell you something, no woman will ever respect you for kissing their ass. Ever. They will use you and abuse you because you show weakness. And then he goes on to say, well, they've got all these other men with qualifications and skill sets of which he knows nothing about their personalities, their vibes, or what they bring to the company, and then pisses and whines about it. Does it ever occur to you that they were hired for something other than their genitals and not simply because they had a lack of ovaries? Does that ever occur to you? Somehow I doubt that.
I know, but why is it that the Twitter board can have 2 college dropouts on it, French literature, a psychology major, a bunch of MBAs, just regular guys. When it comes to women, it has to be a Madeleine Albright or a Hillary Clinton. Why do we have this false thing? And then they said that there aren't enough women in tech, that's why we can't hire them.
Yeah, I think that might just be you, because the rest of the sane world does not lie awake at night thinking about hiring people based on the womb or wang.
Well, excuse me, these French literature majors, these college dropouts don't have any tech degree. They have no, they may have learned some coding. Why is it that the standards are higher for women than they are for men? This is complete bullshit.
I don't care what anybody says, if you spend your days trying to shame men into hiring females and the quality of the company or production doesn't even register to you, you're nothing more than a groveling activist seeking to get laid.
I mean, this is unacceptable.
According to who? Having more women in any sector is better for the reasons I just mentioned. Why? This is what you get when you smoke the herbs of equality all damn day. You're deluded into thinking that men and women are somehow interchangeable, and they're not. Anyone will tell you this. The vibe working with men and women is completely different. Hell, women will tell you they prefer working with men because there's less drama to deal with. God bless the tomboys.
Do you see signs of this changing?
Yeah, 10 years on, everything we've seen go to hell in the last couple of years, from tanking companies to franchises to character inserts, and just general dislikability and incompetence, I think it's safe to say the change has not been a beneficial one by any stretch of the imagination.
It has to change because there's so much pressure on these companies. Dick Costello is getting the crap beaten out of him in the media every day now, fortunately.
What the hell is it with this man's obsession with beating the crap out of people? He sounds kind of crazy. Or lazy with the language, who knows?
And it's getting other CEOs to think twice.
That there's a crazed madman who has a vendetta against men because he can't get any? Sorry I keep harping on this point, but I've yet to hear any compelling reason as to why doing any of this is actually beneficial for any company in any way.
So I have many friends who are CEOs. They're now asking me for input on adding women board members and women management. It's increased. I'm sure every Fortune 500 CEO who reads these articles is taking a look at his board and wondering why there aren't women on this.
Do you guys believe any of this? Because I actually think he's just blowing smoke up his own ass. If you're looking at your board for its genitals rather than its competence, I think it's safe to say you don't belong on the board, let alone having any say on its demographics.
So I have no doubt that there will be good things that come from this.
What have we done?
Yeah, because it's not like pushing this BS has ever yielded any success. Who cares about biology and the realities of men and women? I have politics to push over here. Now would someone please touch my junk? I've been blue-balled since the .com bubble burst.
So backing up a little bit to when these companies are first founded and the fact that so few women get venture capital. One of the explanations that I've heard for this among, the group of men who are not in the frat boys club, sort of the reasonable people who want to do the right thing.
The good guys,
right?
the majority.
Yeah, the most people,
the majority,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, get fucked. No one that isn't getting sloshed with enough dosh to drown the rat population of New York with ESG bucks would ever care about the damn demographics. Tell me something. Hypothetically, if we had a female CEO, do you think she'd want to hire women or men if the field had a predominantly male interest and a vastly superior male workforce? If she wanted to keep her job, I would imagine she would satisfy the board's wishes and crank out proper quarterly earnings and not pander the company into an early grave.
Is that venture capitalists take great pride in their abilities at pattern recognition. And that they look at, okay, who made money for me last time? There's this whole thing of what kind of companies do well for me.
Now you see, their pattern recognition is for competence because they want to make money. Shocker!
And part of the answer to that question is maybe they really are looking for the next Mark Zuckerberg and not the next Facebook.
Pattern recognition is another name for racism and sexism.
For the record, I've not watched any of this before, so I'm flying in blindly with my replies. This has been a train wreck dumpster fire so far, so let's see how much worse it can possibly get.
Pattern recognition is
Yeah, the reason why you're stuttering is because your bullshit takes are as much of a challenge to cough up as it is to swallow, pal.
Pattern recognition is a legitimization of discrimination.
Yeah, and? We discriminate all the time. Hell, you did this earlier on in this bloody interview when you dismissed the qualifications of the men at the social media companies not knowing what their role is. By the way, I hate this crap. You want to know what triggers the shit out of me? This. People who make points not realizing they're contradicting their own fucking arguments of just a few moments ago. Back when I did more articles, I would notice this pattern constantly. It made me want to Hulk smash the hood of a car.
It is wrong. What pattern recognition says is that I know a successful entrepreneur when I see one, and guess what? He's a boy just like me, a white boy who's just like me.
There it is! We all knew it was gonna come. He's just a typical anti-European shithead. What a surprise, said no one. So you think all European men think the same way? That's rather prejudicial thinking based on your shitty ideology. Not a surprise, he reeks of American leftism. Here's my pattern recognition, and frankly my whole audience could have guessed this the moment you said racism and sexism because, like I said in my tweet, I have noticed the pattern of every dimwitted pleb calling me a racist and sexist for noticing the pattern of every dimwitted pleb having no argument except to call people racist and sexist. And you will notice he had no freaking argument for why anything he's advocating for is objectively good for any goal at all. What's the goal of a company? To produce profit. Does hiring women help with that? We have no idea. That was never discussed here at all. And I suspect the answer is no, because if it did, he would use it. But no, he just waffles on with the talking points. They're all the bloody same thank you pattern recognition. It's no wonder I dismiss so many frickin' people. He's just like every other hypocrite who peddles this bullshit, all in favor of discrimination as long as it suits his cause. Worthless bunch of assholes. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.